Well, thank you very much for the invitation. My topic is about internet, Korean overseas, or could be overseas or outward direct investment. So we use IED in Portuguese, or I use IED or ODI. Sometimes I mix, and probably I will mix Portuguese and English. And my focus is on this. And as you see, two previous presenters have mentioned on this investment policy in Korea. So I tried to also skip the overlapping part. And my focus is practically to see the Korean government's this investment policy, and eventually what could be a contribution or influence to Korean companies to go overseas investments. Do we have any relations between two? And after that, we'll see the performance of Korean investment in Brazil. And I tried to see if what will be the decision factors to choose when company decide to invest in Brazil. The factors to choose, that is localization, what state and what city. So, and before that we started, just to have a little fun, I just want to see how many, what could be a difficulty when Korean company decide to invest or run his company in Korea, in Brazil, like Samsung. You see that we have a very recent notice in the newspaper about the moral harassment, assédio moral, is it? And the other one is oversourcing, that is terceirização. So that could be just we see cultural differences, but practically for the foreign gringo, it is necessary just to overcome any difficulties. So just I want to see from you what difficulties Korean companies could have. Language. Okay, first one, language. And pardon? Tax?
Culture.
Culture.
Yeah, because I worked in a Korean company once.
Okay.
They have, for example, 1 hour for lunch.
Okay.
Once I came 5 minutes later,
Uh-huh.
and my boss told me, if everyone comes 5 minutes later,
Yeah.
we will lose a lot of
Yes,
because we
Uh.
have to avoid this behavior.
Okay. We eat to work. Okay, in Koreans. And you are a verse. Okay, the other one. Okay. Hello? Bureaucracy. Okay, you're a little more specific. It's okay. And the other one?
Labor high tax.
Okay, labor high tax. So you are from the management. I noticed that most of you are from international management or something related to running the company, isn't it? Okay, how about the distance? How about the distance? So just Professor Kim said the performance of Korean investments, especially in China, isn't it? So what that kind of how many rushes by Korean? Because China is our neighbor. And if you see the size of companies who invest in China, we could see from a conglomerate that we call the chaebol, that large companies, still the very small size companies, because decision makers like owners could take a flight just to go to China and decide. But in Brazil, as I have suffered that I arrived here, just when I come here, at least I have to spend at least 1 week or a little more than 2 weeks if I want to take a a little pleasure in Brazil. So that is a very big problem because we don't have any owner except a very small size. I think so. We don't have any owner except immigrant, Korean immigrant in Brazil, who run his business in Brazil. So if you already have mentioned, there is a lot of problems of bureaucracy and these cultural differences and other show on language. There is or like a high tax. So they cannot decide. They cannot decide. So there is lots of deferred that should be decided in time, but they most of them lose their time. So that could be a very huge problem. But even with this, as you already know, we have a good performance in Latin America and in Brazil. So that is a miracle. So even Brazilian high authority have mentioned to me that if you have a trouble, so we don't mind because there is a lot of rush by the foreign competitors to want to occupy your place. So we see one Brazilian policy that yes, welcome Korean capital, but whenever you come in Brazil, so você vira sozinho. Yeah? Hay problema. So the first our policy, I just divide like other scholars. We have let's see 6 different stages of following the policy, and it's very coincidence with each government. So the first, just you see that introduction, that is our start of our miracle story from the government Park Chung-hee. And he introduced a positive system because it is very obvious because we don't, Korea had no domestic market. So any foreign investors had interest in the Korean market. So what remains for us is to just borrowing money, empréstimo, and just money borrowed. So government need to get back the money. So government just called big companies just to have a very strategic development in the focusing in some strategic industries that were called export forward policy, and most of them are that I think is very patriots, and just our product they needed is exportable. So just to export, yeah, to give back money borrowed. So investment overseas, no pensar. So we have the another Chonduan, and that's skip. Just you see the red letter, and you see that Kim Young-sam, that our Dr. Jung have mentioned 세계화, globalization, and joining into OECD in 1996. That we see the beginning of that overseas investment policy in Korea, because he introduced a negative system. So just to choose some list of areas that cannot invest. And we have another one is Kim Dae-jung, just to skip, and we see that actual the late Roh Moo-hyun president, and the other one is actual our Lee Myung-bak government, and they introduced this policy just to see one very different position of a policy is that the first one is a policy for exportation. Just overseas investment is a part of our export policy. So as long as to improve more our exportation, so investment is considered very positive one. But at that time, it changed abruptly because major Korean companies' overseas production has overcome the production, domestic production. So government needs to see the very wide, worldwide viewpoint, seeing that Korean industrial policy should include these overseas investments. That means a kind of management, even the overseas factories. So that I will explain a little later with relation to Brazil, the kind of purpose that is a global networking system of production. So it's a part of a policy. So it's a change. It has changed very strongly since 2004 till now. So it's a policy revelation, and I just want to show this global network of production that you should see. And we see that the another one, I skip, just a performance that Professor Kim showed. I just testify this performance measure in China, in Asia, but we see that Latin American are growing. And until this year, March of this year, we see IED in the world, and Brazil is also occupied 11th. So it's a very jumping in a very short time. Now we are in Brazil. So I just divided this performance in 3 circles, 3 stages. Just to see, it is very interesting that later I will show a graphic that we'll see. The first stage is until 1995. So it's a very strategic division of the years that you see. The first one, the second one is structuring stage is 96 to 2003, and you see in Brazil the openness in 1990 by the Fernando Collor, isn't it? So that is the beginning, and made Korean product to come, because Korea wanted to export, and Brazil had the famous industrial policy of how can I say import substitution policy. So it was a very contract one, and you see that abolition of that policy at 90. And that Plano Real in 1994, and you have a very established economic conditions. And in Korea, we had that, this is that Professor Kim Young-sam authorized the overseas investment using adopting a negative system. And this is wrong one, not 2005, there's 95. He authorized that kind of overseas investment. And that I say this, after that, we saw the jumping of Koreans' investment. So I baptized this as a first wave of Korean investment, just to sell, just to assess a Brazilian market. And the third phase is stabilization, just to stay in Brazil. That is that started 2004 until now. And if you see that during 1999 to 2003, we had a very economic turmoil in Brazil. And back since 2004, after the Lula government's starting, we saw that kind. But in this stage, what is very important is both sides approach interest to see each other. That I noticed from the presidential official visit. So in our case, in 95, our President Kim had a first visit. And in 2004, our President late Law, visited Brazil. And 2008, actual President Lee visited Brazil, and this year he had another visit. So we have 4 years of a cycle, and this actual president had during his mandate two visits. It's a very interesting thing. Why? And if we see, let me see this. You can notice that exactly if you compare with Professor Kim's graph, that is, you have noticed that Korea's overseas investment is something similar, not only the rest of the world, but also Latin America, and including Brazil. But in case of Brazil, we have another very interesting factor is both sides, the Brazil side and Korean side had a very interest to see each other, and this data showed that is actually after the visit of the president, and the next year. The amount of investment jumped very rapidly, and that is if you see the red letter, global network production, you see some that I show. Hyundai Auto, it has its manufacturing site in old bricks. You see the number of expectation to produce is a car. So domestic is overseas outweighs domestic production. And Samsung LG also, if you see the just cellular that most of you have, it also overcame the domestic production since 2007. And POSCO, they have the very interesting name is UNI and A. U means you see the Asian countries, and I is whole American, including United States, and we see I in South America. We have Brazil, in Fortaleza, Ceará, in PC. We are constructing that steel mill, and let me say, A is Africa. The company is looking for. So this is if you see this is a part of a global network production. So that is not a coincidence. That is just a projection, and the government policy following is actually. With companies' performance in overseas. So, and this is the part. It's just empirical and just a data research that I with other colleagues did. The second column is motivation to choose Brazil, and in the middle. The second one is research conducted by my colleague, Dr. Kwan in CAP. And in center is my own research. And the third part is also my research because I just interviewed Korean companies in Brazil to see what is the second one. What made you to decide Brazil? The last one is what is your decides factors to choose that state, so localization. So we see a very interesting part is assess ao mercado interno. That is a market assess. So we have a huge internal market. So that is the first one. If you see that the other one is atendimento às exigências de clientes estrangeiros. That means Brazilian companies, one Korean company provide their product, not just importing. So if you put together, we see that more than half is actually just to see the Brazilian market. And if you see the right one, we see that one very interesting one is logística, facilidade that I yellow marked. So company choose one state or city considering a logistic. That means Brazilian logistics is very high cost, isn't it? So the other one is about not mão de obra barata. Below, facilidade no fornecimento de mão de obra. The easiness to provide labor force. So, put together is over the half, and we see the another one. A very interesting one is that I noticed. Privilégios oferecidos aos investidores. Incentives that states or state give to investors. So that one, not my conclusions, because I'm, as you already know, that I'm a lawyer, but I'm something like an economist or administrator, is it? Yeah. So I just tried to show that I just did on the base of data. So you have to use this data. So states can among the competitors, the staters, you can give more information and in state or municipalities incentives. And this data is that I just draw from the Korean Exim Bank data bank. So bank gave this until March of this year, and if you see that, you see the motives from Korean companies to choose to assess a Brazilian market. And all I did about the difficulty in Brazil running business. So you already have mentioned this. The second part, this one is that I researched, interviewing 31 Korean companies here. And the one very interesting one is that's in order of difficulty, tax difficulty, and problem of labor forces, and obviously labor union or that labor law, and the other ones you should see. So my conclusion is this, that we have big difficulties. Even with the difficulties, Korean companies are coming here not to sell, but to stay. So not just a Korean side. Just a Korean side, I have just one. Professor Kim have showed to you about the room, how to increase our investment. Because if you consider the portion of export with the investment, we see that investment, the amount of investment is very low. How many? Comparing more or less 1/3 of average. That means actually in Brazil we have the accumulated amount of investment $4.4 billion. that means the possibility of increase reach to $12 billion. Okay? And what Brazil needs is that first one is you need to better your image in Brazil, in the world. So your ranking of doing business in the World Bank, you are 126 among 183. So that is incredible, and we need to improve the image. And the second one is states needs to show to the investors what is your specialty in industrial policy. It could be just one state, and could be a group of states that to show the specialty, and because it can give more easiness to choose incentive for the investors, not only foreign but domestic investors. And the other one is you need to give more information about the states and municipality. And the last one is that please don't abandon the investors after you seduzir, vir aqui. After that, you just as I already mentioned, just to vira sozinho is irresponsible. So if I'm in a Brazilian government's side, I just could have a very interesting one. Just after that, we can choose one officer, public officer, just to have one very easy contact with state or municipality. Yeah, we have a problem with the federal. So federal is another problem, but at least in the localization, we could solve that problem. But I'm not saying about in the São Paulo state. São Paulo state is probably a different one, but if it's the rest of Brazil, we have a very big room to have this kind of investment business with Korea. Well, thank you very much.